everyone, and welcome. My name is D Diamond. That's DEE, and then of course Diamond. I'm pretty new to the format, but I just had. I've been watching a couple of podcasts, and I've just had some opinions about certain things that has been boggling on my mind, and I just kind of wanted to just kind of put it out there into the ether nano and just, say my little piece on the situation just because I've had a couple of thoughts and theories on it. So let's jump into the Little Nas X video. Personally, for me, I actually really appreciated it as somebody who is a part of the LGBT community. I saw. I am very good at seeing the pros and the cons of the video. The pros being that there's this unapologetic black male rapper slash singer, or you could just say artist, who's on the scene, who's actually making a name for himself, or has been making a name for himself, and has been able to hold up his career for the longevity of it, and has done it in such a successful way. Personally, I'm very happy to see someone like him be able to do what he wants to do and be able to now do it unapologetically. As far as the video goes, first of all, as I'm sure a lot of people that I've heard said they love the song, and I love the song as well. And I also like the video. I'm personally not someone who religiously listens to Little Nas X, but with the certain choices that he's been making now, with him discovering himself as an artist, I've started to actually really now become interested in seeing what else he's going to have to offer. Now, let's jump into the real situation that a lot of people have this whole little situation about, which is the video itself. Personally, when I first saw the video, I read exactly what it was supposed to be giving in the first place. Of course, with it involving the Adam and Eve, or in his case, Adam and Steve situation, the serpent, which a lot of people like to say was an alien, and I guess because of his head is higher, I can see that as well. But about a man being able to find love with another man, then getting condemned, or a male figure, I guess you could say. Then all of a sudden now he's getting condemned for thinking in this way, or reacting in the way of kissing the serpent. And to the point where he's getting stoned, which was always the punishment back in the Roman days. And once he dies, he ascends up to heaven, only to, as a lot of people say, right down to hell on a stripper pole. I think a lot of people, understandably, took a lot of the concept of the Satanism part of it, and really blew that up more so than what the video was trying to digest. I mean, we all know at the end of the day, yeah, if you're gonna throw the devil into any kind of motion picture kind of scenario, it's gonna make a big uproar, especially if it's coming from a black LGBT person. Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna be making some noise. But personally, I feel like there are so many different interpretations of what people's perception of Lucifer is. And that's why, to also bring up my point, there are so many different shows and promotions. Everybody is saying, oh, well, this is just pure Satanism. This is everything that is purely demonic. But it's like, Have you looked at other things that have been promoted out into the world? You have TV shows, once again, that are named Lucifer. Have nothing against the show, nothing, like none of this I have anything against. It is what it is, pretty much. I always take it with a grain of salt. At least that's how I just pretty much go about certain things in the world. I don't. I think, yes, he did do it as mainly a shock factor. And I think a lot of people rightfully had the choice to feel a certain kind of way in this whole Little Nas X Satanism thing. But he said it himself plenty of times regarding the fact that you guys always say people from the LGBT are going to hell. So when they ride down to hell on the stripper pole, all of a sudden you still got problems. And that just boils down to the fact that people are never going to be pleased or satisfied with how certain people choose to use their art form, whether it's going against the grain or with the grain, And obviously we know that Little Nas X was trying to go against the grain and still is like, he's a troll. Point blank period. He's a troll and he admits that, and there's nothing wrong with that. He likes to troll people because at the end of the day, I'm sure there are plenty of straight people who troll him and go after him because of his sexuality. And more than likely it's probably the Christians and the straight people who don't really see it for the gays, or only see it for the gays on undercover situations or bullshit like that, but all this to basically say, I did appreciate the video. Dancing on the Devil was a little bit much, but at the same time, like I said, I can't judge somebody's artistry, so I'm not going to really go on this whole little rant saying this, that, and the third. I do hope that he does in the future doesn't try to make this a full gimmick, which I've heard some people were a little bit afraid of what was going to come from this. I personally don't think that it's going to be a gimmick. I feel like this is just for show purposes, for him promoting his single, doing all this like little stuff. Also, while we're already kind of moving off of the music video topic, let's talk about the shoe topic real quick. So we got the Satan shoe, basically. I definitely see where people have strong concern. Me personally, I when I first, I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about it, I was completely turned off. I was not here for it. I thought the video was good enough. This was just kind of overkill, and it was, just something that was like, it was like not only a, fuck you to the Christians and the people who, and let me also readdress this. It's not all Christians, because there are some Christians who actually are okay with the LGBT, but it's the toxic Christians who have this so radical ideal to kind of demean and demonetize anything that doesn't go against their belief. And that's a whole nother freaking conversation within itself that I could really get into. But we're, for right now, just going to focus on Little Nas X, because I don't want to be drifting all over the place and confusing y'all. So, to stick with the shoes. So the shoes are a bit much. I think it is overkill. Still kind of do. Especially when you're talking about, the little human drop of blood, which in retrospect, I really don't think that he actually puts blood in the shoes. I don't think Nike would actually put blood in their shoes. And if it ever did actually come to passing that he did, or that they did actually put human blood in the shoes, that would be a very huge concern. if you're a Christian, I think if you're an atheist, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm not an atheist per se, so I can't really speak on their behalf. I don't know if they would just like really appreciate that, the authenticity of it all, or what exactly. But I don't know. I think that definitely would be overkill. Like 110%, that would be overkill. But to me personally, even though I don't necessarily rock with it, I see it for what it is. It is a part of a marketing scheme because, of course, you have this you have this video that you're promoting and that has gone on successfully, which I'm very happy about. But now to add on top of that, he has these shoes. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they don't correlate, they don't tie in together. Some people do say that they do tie in together, so it's like this wishy-washy kind of situation. But in actual perspective, it's like it, because he released this so close to the date that he released the video. Obviously this was something that was planned in the making. Obviously it wasn't just something that just came right after the video. Nike hit them up and said, hey, we have this particular shoe that we're trying to sell and we could try to do something with you to help collaborate the new song that came out. I'm sure this shoe had been in the making for quite some time for them to come up with this. Either that or it could have been a last minute decision, but I would like to think higher of Lil Nas X and how he does his marketing strategies, because he is a smart businessman. There's no denying that. But yeah, personally, I'm just thinking with the shoe, that's just more of a marketing strategy. Um, and I guess he was trying to just still, like I said, he was trying to dig the needle a little bit deeper into the Christians' wound on how they were already feeling with the video, to the point that now they're going through this whole little situation with the shoes. Personally, also, I don't. Personally, also, I had to think about it for a minute. There was a discussion that was brought up. I believe it was on Out Loud with Funky Dineva, Al, and Claudia Jordan. And it was referring not only to the Satanism part of it, but also about the feminine versus masculine thing. And this has been such a big problem, especially within the Black community, because of the fact that we still have to deal with the whole masculine versus feminine thing when it comes to gay Black men. And there was a moment where Al asked about why does it have to be where and don't, it's not a verbatim thing, so don't quote me on it, but it was around the lines of, why does he have to show off this flamboyancy? And though I'm very how can I say this? I don't mind Funky Dineva. There's certain times I can rock with There's certain times I can rock with Q. But there are other times when I feel like there are certain things that you're saying, and it's not really, like, you're not getting all the facts, and you're just speaking directly off of just what you're seeing. And I get it, because that's just human nature. Everybody has the same kind of situation. But I feel like at this time Q was doing more of his Funky Dineva isms than he was being Q, because Q is highly intelligent and is able to articulate himself in the best of his abilities when he has the facts that are necessary for the situation. But I just felt like on that live, on that podcast, whatever thing, he was giving you a little bit more funky Dineva than he was Q. So I don't know what the behind the scenes situation was with that, but I felt like that was a perfect opportunity for Funky Dineva to actually break down the whole situation when it came to feminine and masculine toxicity that we have in the Black community, because of the fact that so many men, especially Black men, have such a disdain for, well, mainly Black gay men. Black people in general, but we're just going to focus on the inner workings of the LGBT Black community real quick. But there are a lot of Black gay men who identify as nothing but masculine men, and they see a flamboyantly gay Black guy living his truth and doing it flawlessly, might I add. And it becomes a problem. It becomes, oh, why is he so fucking Nancy and all this other, like very hateful, homophobic kind of situation. And I kind of wish that he was able to respond to Al and say that with Black men in the LGBT community, there's this rhetoric because we've been promoted, or because as Funky Dineva, I'm saying this, because we've been just walk with me for a minute, just kind of get into my mindset of how I'm perceiving this, because I be having these same kind of conversations to myself without a podcast, so I decided why not do it on the podcast just to say something. But anyway, as I be thinking as Funky Dineva in that moment, what would I have said? And I personally would have been like, people in the Black community have had to deal with all these different things in the media regarding, oh, well, we're only going to see the flamboyantly gay person in TV shows, and like that's how they're always going to put us as in any show. We're always like, there's no way that we could be a gender neutral person when it comes to showing our femininity but our masculinity. We could be strong, but then we could also have our frilly side. There's nothing wrong with being able to show both sides. It doesn't make you less of a man or more of a man. It's something where it's in between. At the end of the day, people like to put this certain perspective on how men are supposed to be in the world. Like, they have to be manly men. They have to be this strong guy who's able to just chop down a fucking tree with one swing at the axe and be able to knock down that whole tree like that. Like, they're supposed to be like these husky guys with full beards, deep voices, like ready to just pick you up and, take you all over the world and So it's just kind of like, people have to realize there are so many different, the same way that there are so many different Black people, different shades of Black people in the world. There are so many different variations of what it means to be a man. There are so many different variations of what it means to be a woman. Like, there's not just one specific spectrum. Like, you can't just categorize men in one particular box. Now, if that's the only box that you know, then you're never going to really open up your mind and your perspective to understand that there are more people out there in the world to be able to have these different what's the word have these different oh girl, I can't think of it. Have these different like what personalities or something around that effect. Yeah. So you're going to come across the guys who are maybe a little bit more masculine, and that's fine. You're going to have the guys who are a little bit more frilly. Once again, that's fine. You're going to have the guys who are pretty much in between. Like, what is it? Like the Goldilocks story. There's always a small bed, middle bed, and a big bed. There's always three differentiate. Oops, sorry. There are always three different, if not more, different ways to perceive something, And the issue that always comes from it is the masculine side, the super masculine side, always has an issue with the ones who show more frilliness. I don't think they have an issue with the ones who are like a little bit in between, because if they show more of their their masculine side, then they don't really, it is like it is what it is. But it's like y'all are the masculine side of the spectrum on the LGBT side is so concerned about wanting to appease the straight masses, the straight cisgendered or biological, men and women on that side of the spectrum, because they want to fit the part of the hetero norm. And it's like, sweetie, as long as you're dicking down a guy, you're never going to really be a part of the hetero norm. Like, some people will tolerate you, some people will fully embrace you, as they would everybody else in the community. But you trying to appease them just so that your life could be somewhat happy, in quotation marks, it's like it's like you're trying to live up to a standard that you'll never be. Because if you're looking to get back into good graces with them, the best option for you would be if you started to fuck pussy. Would be if you started to literally go back from fucking guys in the ass and you start fucking girls in the ass. Then they'll take you back. They'll still be a little leery with you, because you know how certain people are, because of how LGBT men are perceived. Once you fuck an asshole and it's a guy, it's attached to a guy, it's like they always gonna be looking at you like, oh, I'm sorry, you part of the community. I don't know if I could fuck with you like that. And it's just like, I don't. And once again, that's a whole nother spectrum that I could talk about when it comes to, women disassociating themselves with men who are a little bit more open-minded with their perception of who they want to have sex with or be in a relationship with and all that other stuff. And I could probably hit that topic on another time, because I have thoughts and opinions on that as well. But yeah, masculine men have this rhetoric of feeling like they need to prove something to show their alliance towards, women in this society, to be like, oh yeah, I'm not that type of gay. I'm more masculine. That's fine. Especially if it's like in the black community. So that's one. And they always have an issue with the frilly ones. And they have an issue with them because of the fact that they live their life unapologetically. It's like in the same way as trans women and trans people. It's where we're so far away from that side of trying to fit the heteronormal, where we're just living in our own world. We are rocking out with the beat of our own drum. Like, we are playing auto tunes on that bitch, and whatever kind of instrument that really will kind of have your head bopping like a rock star or something. I don't know. But anyway, like we have that capability of being able to march to the beat of our own drum and doing it unapologetically, which is one of the reasons why Little Nas X went with showing you his masculine side in the beginning, and as everything transpired, especially when he hit that pole, especially when he hit that pole, child, he showed you the femininity of it all, because that's legitimately how they feel. If you are in the masculine side of the spectrum, it's going to be a little bumpy, but it's not going to be as heinous as like so and so and so and so. But then as he gets to the middle part of the spectrum, when he's in the Roman cathedral, and you have all of these different variations of him. You have the male version of him out in the bleachers throwing the rocks at him, but then, as you probably noticed, the vast majority of the Little Nas X's that were in the blue suit, they were all, as a lot of people like to say, they were all having the whole Marge Simpson situation going on with the hairstyle. Like they were waiting for Homer to get his sentencing, basically. But it was an interesting concept to see all of the masculine, I guess, versions of Little Nas X up on the bleachers, but the ones who were giving him the judgment were the feminists, or the more feminine side of him. There was like maybe a couple of masculine presenting characters in the blue attire that were there as well, but you saw the vast majority of them were more feminine presenting, with the hairstyles and all that, with the fans and all that other shit, you know? And as he dies or gets killed, he transcends up, and you see him looking once again still with the masculine kind of attire, short hair, giving you black boy realness. And then as he grabs the pole, he slides down with long braids, a very like high heels, giving you very feminine feet like movements down the pole, because of the situation of it feeling like, okay, they could somewhat tolerate you but you still got to go through a rock and a hard place with with the whole masculine part of it. But then if you decide that you want to trot down all the way over to the feminine part of this, oh bitch, you're going straight to hell. You're going to be the first ones going down that pole, bitch. And he was showing you such a perfect way, especially with him embracing that side, and because a lot of people say, oh yeah, if you're the feminine kind of gay, oh yeah, you going down first, because I mean, like, what the fuck are y'all trying to do, and it's just this. It was very intricate in how he chose to maneuver certain ways with this, that I was able to kind of get and understand. And even now talking, I'm able to learn more things and process it a little bit more so, because of just all the variations of how he was trying to perceive all of this, And I'm glad that he is a person who shows masculine and feminine, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, with not only in the LGBT community, in the LGBT black community, in the black community with LGBT members, and just black community as a whole. There is so much that needs to be repaired, and I feel like we're not going to get to any of it in this lifetime, because a lot of people have such a warped perception of how certain things are supposed to go. And it's like, even when you're a Christian, I can never really wrap my head around the fact that if you are a Christian and you're saying God loves everybody, why would it be in your eyes a situation where God doesn't like the gays? And you could say, well, if you're referring to the Little Nas X thing, it's because of the Satanism. But once again, there are plenty of other things out there that give you strong symbolism of Satanism, and no one bats an eye. But I think because of the fact that it is coming from a gay black male, let me say that again, a gay black male, everybody, especially in the black community, everybody's in the uproar because there's such a divide when it does come to black men in the LGBT living their life unapologetically and flaunting it in your face, which is also a thing. Because it's one thing to say that you are here for the girls and you're here for the boys and all this other shit, but I really want to know the best way that I could know if you're really an ally or if you're really here for the LGBT members, because you could say all that shit all you want to, but until I see you have your gay friends around with their lovers and they are able to kiss, show affection, not don't go overboard, because even as a straight person, you don't want to go overboard, especially with all your friends, unless y'all just into some kinky shit. But it's like, if you have your friends and they're LGBT members, the best way that I can know that you're really down for us is if you are able to be in the same room with them and see them loving each other as the loving couple that they are, kissing, holding each other's hands, giving embraceful love, like hugs and stuff like that. And it's like, then that's when I know that you really are here for us, because it's very easy. It's very trigger responsive for somebody when they see anything that is in gay taste that is out of the norm from what they normally see. It's easy for them to squint their eyes out of like disgust or or like look away or do something like that. But it's like the same way that you would react if you saw a man and a woman being all these lovey-dovey situations, if you don't have that same kind of feeling when you see somebody who is of the LGBT descent and you're like, okay, well, it's whatever, they're just kissing, like they're a couple, obviously they're gonna kiss, then it's like, okay, cool. But if you're going to give me that energy of disgust or disdain, then that's when we got a problem. And then let me also beat it to this punch too, is that there are some people who probably would say, well, I'm just not someone who is into the whole seeing other people be affectionate situation. And once again, that is fine. But here's what I need for you to do. If you're going to say that is the situation, then anytime that I see you and anytime that we are in the vicinity of a straight couple or a gay couple, and you see both of them being affectionate, you better keep that same energy. Don't go over to the straight couple and be like, oh, guys, y'all need to stop. We at a public place. Come on now. And then you look over to the gays kissing or the LGBT people kissing, and you like, ugh. Like, y'all, like, come on now. Come on. We're in a public place. Like, come on. Like, let's just be for real with this. Let's be for real. But I guess push comes to shove. Mainly what I just wanted to say, I think I said everything that I wanted to say. So, I don't, know. I just want to speak my piece on this and just kind of, say my little ditty on the matter. But, for video wise, I think that, it is what it is. Do I feel like Little Nas X is, I mean, I feel like I say that, my bad. I actually like the video. I like the concept. I like the song, and I'm glad that it's a catchy song. Because even with a lot of people who didn't really necessarily rock with the video, they didn't mind the song, which I appreciated. That guitar really saved a life, sweetie. Like that little Spanish guitar. Oh, that saved a good amount of lives. With a lot of people liking that song. Um, the shoes, I feel like, are a marketing ploy. Do I feel like Little Nas X is supportive in Satanism? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't believe so from a personal stance, because if you go on his Instagram page, he doesn't really have anything on his page that is giving you that energy of Satanism. If you scroll down, I mean, once again, I probably don't go on his page as often as I probably should. I mean, I don't like, I support him, but it's not like on that level, you know. But I mean, I do like him as a person. Fashions, all these other things that is making him an icon that he's starting to turn out to be now in his career. And I hope that I'll be able to listen to more of his music as time progresses and he gets better, you know. But I don't believe that he is like a Satanist. I don't believe he's an atheist. I'm not for sure. I can't speak on how he chooses to believe in things. But I haven't gotten any signs of it. I haven't seen anything on Twitter of him like strongly promoting this other than the shoes, but it's like that's to promote his video. So it's kind of like, you know, on that level. I would say let's see how the future of his of how he promotes himself in the future goes. Like whatever posts he starts to bring, like if it becomes more demonic, then that's when we're like, okay, girl, you're kind of showing your card, and it's kind of not where I'm trying to head at right now, because we don't like. And also, just because it just reminded me, I know a lot of people feel a certain kind of way when it comes to feeling like he's promoting the Satanism and is doing nothing but harming the gays. But it's like, let's be very clear. How he chooses to express his own identity as a gay queer artist, black queer artist, that's on him. I get there are going to be those ignorant people who are going to try and put us all in a box, but that's why there needs to be more representation out there in the world. Because if he does go down that path, then that's his path. It's not something where it is our responsibility to mold him to who he's going to be as an individual. If that's the road he wants to go, if that's the Old Town road that he wants to go down, by all means, he could rodeo down that side all day long. But that's him. That is not the whole LGBT community, black gay community as a whole. So you can try to put him in the box and say this is what everybody is, and we're just gonna ship it off and pack it over to Billy Ray Cyrus's house or some bullshit like that. But it's just like, you have to be able to differentiate how people are going to go about things. And also with the kid situation, it's as old as time what people say. At the end of the day, artists are artists. They are not people who are catering to anybody else than themselves and the people who they're trying to sell their album towards. You got your kids into Little Nas X. That's great. He was good for the times. But we've learned this theory time and time again from different from different Disney stars, from different Nickelodeon stars. We've seen this rhetoric of the innocent, semi-innocent, preteen adulthood. Oh, now, bitch, we're in the full adulthood. We're talking about sex and fornication and all this other shit. We've seen that. We're not old with this formula. especially with him being a young kid. We're not old to the formula. So why is it still such a flabbergasting surprise when you see somebody who is maybe marketing to kids at one point, but then they get older and they want to do something different. They don't always want to do these little kid bop numbers. And we've seen this time and time again. So why is it such a flabbergasting moment when the 51 person decides now, well, not the 51, but when the I'm trying to think, when the next new up and coming artist all of a sudden now decides to go right down that same path that every Disney Star person did and every Nickelodeon star did when they were doing their music. People grow, people change, people eventually want to talk about sex and doing all these other shit. Like it just is a part of the it's a part of the culture. It's a part of the musical culture for what transpires. So I don't see why people are so surprised about it. Even when they're parents, because it's like, even when the parents were young and they saw these kids on Disney Channel, they knew what it was. So it's like now for them to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening again. Why not? You were kids at that time growing up and going with the changes. And like a lot of people say, if that's something that you're starting to see, that's why you need to pay attention to the artists that your kids are listening to. That way, if you start to see that their ways are starting to go in a more adulthood kind of progression, that's when you're like, okay, baby, you're still kind of too young for this. Let me try to backtrack you onto something different, just so that we can get another option for you for right now until you get a little bit older. Then by all means you could go listen to who you want to listen to, even though we all know that they probably still gonna listen to that artist in private because they've already been introduced to them. But like, you should know, no artist is going to stay in one category for the rest of their lives. Hell, even Zendaya didn't. She lasted as long as she could in her career being a kid. But eventually, as everybody else in the industry does, they grow up and they want to start acting in different roles that are more of their age. And there is nothing wrong with that. So let's not penalize somebody because they finally decided that they wanted to go into the world with this new sense of self. Like that. Come on now, let's just put some common sense behind this. But yeah, it's just, it is definitely just something that we're probably going to continuously deal with as far as how the world is progressing and shit like that. But I don't know, child. I know that he is supposed to be doing an album release sometime soon. I don't know how soon. I know they were talking about it on Zachary Campbell's channel. So if you know who he is, he's a reactor who reacts to a lot of music artists, and he's even had the opportunity to have certain artists on his show as he's reacting to the artist's new video. They just did that with the Little Nas video, so I'm sure you guys could go on to his page and watch him and Little Nas X talk about it and have it where he is able to help explain the situation of the video, because I learned a bit about the video after hearing his opinion on it, and I appreciate Zachary Campbell for having him on the platform to be able to do that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is new. I just felt like it was something that was heavy on my spirit because a lot of people were just constantly talking about it. I'm sure there were some points that I didn't get a chance to cover, or some points that I was about to cover and then I just missed it because I had something else in my mind. Sorry, I didn't have all this stuff written down. But, I just, I just wanted to come on here and just say my little piece on it real quick. And hopefully y'all enjoy. I highly recommend that you guys show support to Little Nas X, and show support to the LGBT community. Show support to all the communities that have been disgruntled and discouraged. Please go into an open heart and oh my God, an open heart, open mind, and open spirit with every community that you go into. Don't try to alienate a community out, because every community has its own version of suffrage, and the last thing that we as any community needs is to have it where we're trying to push a community down in order to bring another community up. I just don't feel like there's any real sense of that, because if we're all trying to go up into the same place, why are we tearing each other down? Because you tearing a community down is not going to lift you up any higher than you think that you are. Like, there's just it's not possible. It's not possible. You may think that it is, but then there will always be that there will always be that person who is higher above you that will show you and tell you why that's not the case for you. There are certain hierarchies in the world, but I do feel like we as a whole, if we're ever going to look at this place as a place where people could finally get along, and where we could have our own sense of Montero before the whole snake came into the field to get his paws on Little Nas X, if we could all find our sense of peace in this world and be able to get along with others in this world like that, then that would be awesome. But I feel like we're just way too far away from the spectrum to really do that. We're getting it here and there, but then like, we gotta compare the numbers. How many pros against the cons, and how many are fake pros where they're just seeing things on a certain level and it's just not really given 100% and all this other stuff. So it's Jesus, it's a lot. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you want to check out my channel, I don't know if I could post this on my channel, but if not, then if you want to check out my channel, I do gaming. Right now I'm currently playing Mafia 2 and Avengers, the Hawkeye DLC. So yeah, hopefully if you guys want to check that out, it's DarianBluHeartDiamond, DEE and then Diamond. And you'll see my little profile with like a blue hair, blue wavy looking hair. But anyways, I shall see y'all, and hopefully I could bring y'all some more topics and, get the discussion popping. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get on here for a quick little ditty. So I'm gonna get off the line and going about my business, because I gotta go take care of some grown woman shit. So I will talk to y'all later, boo-boos. Bye.